throughout the season, when in trouble in the second half, they've managed to find another gear. Can they do it with time running out? There's off Ingram to bat the ball away. Williams could tie it with a three. He goes! Tied at 38 seconds to
Oh, what are you doing? He threw him out of the ball game. You gotta be blaming me. What in the hell are you doing? What are you doing, Wagner?
No, listen, stick around the game. You listen to an old veteran like me. I'll show you how to talk on the air, boy. You know, the TV. No, really, TV, cameras and going on and shit like that. Huh? I'm telling you, man. I'll show you how to make a living with this stuff. I'll show you how to have the people eating right out of here.
My name is the white people, not Vietnams or Chinese or Japanese. You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. You my opposer when I want equality. You won't even stand up for me in America for my religious beliefs, and you want me to go somewhere and fight, but you won't even stand up for me here at home.
We're back. Sorry, I had to go run and grab my cramp. I realized
I was looking at that blank screen and I was like, all right, let's see what happens. Let's see if he gets back.
We were like Muhammad Ali, and I was like running through the speech in my head as I was like running. I'm like, I still got time.
Oh man,
Braid him down the hat.
I got the green.
Speaking of
what are you saying?
well, speaking of Ali, I watched the movie Ali yesterday for the first time.
With Will Smith?
Or the day before, or whatever. Yeah. Did you guys like that movie?
I haven't seen it since I was probably like, I think they showed it to us like when I was in high school or something, but I haven't seen it since then.
It was okay. I was really surprised of how in depth they went with his relationship with Malcolm X, because I did not realize that Malcolm was featured in the movie so heavily. But it was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Who played Malcolm X in that movie?
Somebody who absolutely should not have played Malcolm X in the movie. I don't know who it was, but it was.
It was actually Nick Cage. It was Nick Cage in blackface.
Not even blackface. Just straight. Nick.
Just artistic license.
I could at least. I could.
Paul Giamatti. No. Okay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I could at least respect the effort if they put him in blackface and did it. This was just awful.
Can you imagine?
Mario Van Peebles.
What do you mean? How do you guys not know who Mario Van Peebles is?
I apologize.
I know who he is.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
I guess he's a little before your time. I would have thought maybe you would have known him just because you know most black actors, but he is a little bit before your time.
Yeah, all five.
I would say he directed Boys in the Hood, right? Is that the one that he directed?
No, that was John Singleton.
Look at you guys, your Black History.
Mario Van Peebles. He's directed stuff, though, I know for sure.
Badass, maybe?
Sweet.
The long title.
Oh, he's like kind of. Oh no, that's like that's that blaxploitation movie. He directed. Oh, he did like some I forgot. He's like kind of associated with In Living Color, like you know that show.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he directed New Jack City.
Folks.
That's right. He directed New Jack City.
Adam, I goofed. I'm going to switch over Wi-Fi's real quick. It'll be a better connection on my end. Hope for the best. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Yeah, and then he co-starred in Ali.
Woo!
Seamless.
Yeah. That's right, baby.
Yeah. So, Nathan, how was the XFL game? XFL update.
Scintillating. Titillating. Showed up. The attendance was a lot better than I expected. Maybe like 60 to 70% of this stadium that has 20,000 people.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, well, especially I was thinking about how in DC the Skins have been, the Washington football team has been so bad for so long that it may be one of the only markets that like would be open to the XFL. Like we'll just take any winning football.
Where do they play? Point. Do they play in Audi? They're
playing in Audi, yeah. Which is a bit of a pain in the ass to get in and out of, but
probably
it kind of
reinforces than the Washington football team stadium.
Yes, that's way farther out. That's like 30 minutes outside DC.
Yeah.
But that kind of makes me think that the XFL should have launched with like Cleveland, Washington, Chicago, just where failed franchises live. That's just where they should states. Have their failed states. And okay, so I mean, Cardell Jones, who's the quarterback for the DC Defenders. DC Defenders taking on the New York Guardians. Real dog shit names. The hashtag for the New York Guardians is #OnGuard.
Oh,
which is just real chud energy, real troop energy.
Not even chud. That's just very corny. Like it sounds like like it's like literally like they made the league from Any Given Sunday, but with less relevance.
Yes, that's what I was saying. As the uniforms kind of look that way, definitely kind of look. They're very 2003, 2004 ish. I was joking. I do think that it would have been better if they just renamed the New York team the New York Troops. I think that would have been that could have worked for them.
Go for broke.
Just do it. Just go all the way because they're not letting him dance anymore. They're not letting him do the NFL blitz thing where they hit each other after the play ends. Pros, Cardell Jones, the quarterback for the Defenders, looks like a competent quarterback. He did some fun things. So that was pretty good. Again, the people were actually more into it than I thought they would be, probably because it started. It was interesting that because people. I was going purely for irony, and a lot of people were as well, but they also were football fans. And so the first half was definitely everybody was cheering ironically. And then I think in the second half, when everyone realized that we're actually good, like as far as XFL goes, like we're one of the better teams, like everyone started cheering non-ironically. They were like, this is our football team. This is who we're rooting for now. So that was interesting. But when it's bad, it's a really bad product. The New York team was extremely bad. I was saying that I truly believe that Alabama could have beaten that team. I think it's true. I think Clemson could have beaten the New York XFL team, and it wasn't as fun as I thought. Like they kept touting these things of we're speeding up the game. Well, the game was 3 hours long. And we're gonna have it was 3 hours long, and they've been talking about how they want the game to be 2 hours.
Huh?
Yeah, it was not fast at all. Mostly because the New York team couldn't complete a pass to save their lives.
I thought they didn't stop the clock on incompletions though.
They don't. It's more like college rules though. It's like the clock doesn't run continuously. It like when the ball hits the ground, they stop the clock, and then when they get to the line of scrimmage, they blow it and it starts again. So it's like college.
Okay.
And they promised more offense, and the game ended 27-0. And it's just like it wasn't right now. There's not. They need to do more to make it a new thing, because right now it just kind of looks like below average football or like a decent college football game.
What about the non-football entertainment? Like, was there a lot of was there a lot of spectacle?
It was demented. They had probably about the majority of it was like every single stoppage of play. They trotted out 3 small children and had them run 40-yard dashes.
Are you serious?
No, it's very true. to see who would win out of the three small children. And the first time, most places do this. They have like just do the baby race, right? And the first time you do it, it's kind of adorable. But then like the sixth time they do it, it's like, this is all you. How many children do you have back there? What are you doing? They did it a little too much.
Yeah, it's not entertaining at all.
Very little spectacle at all. Very little. And they need to just do some rules where it's like if you throw a touchdown pass longer than 30 yards, you score 20 points. Like there needs to be those kind of rules changes.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to survive without it being a different game than football because they can't compete.
It's such an easy dude. We need mid-game promos from the players.
Yeah.
Like we need to give these players a mic, let them
talk. They do.
Yeah?
They do that. So from what I've heard, it's a much better product on TV than it is live because they're doing things live like they are doing like mid-game interviews with the players.
Yeah.
And it was really funny. You know that controversy on Twitter about the guy who was banging on the airline seat of the girl that put her seat back? Yeah. They asked one of the players about that mid-game. Like, how do you feel about this?
That's funny.
And he's like, dude, I'm a big guy. I'm on the dude's side. You can't be taking my 2 inches away. That was
funny.
good.
I like that.
They mic the head coaches up, so if you're watching it on TV, you can hear the head coaches calling the plays.
Huh.
So it's a much better product. But then after the game, I got a DC Defenders shirt because who knows when this whole thing is going to collapse. And there's a truck around DC called the Epstein Did Not Kill Himself truck. And it was parked right outside the stadium, and we got pictures with it, and that was pretty good.
Oh, you're serious?
Yeah, no, there's a guy, and he has a truck, LED screen that says Epstein did not kill himself, and there's a big line of people getting pictures.
Here, I think if I go to your media tab here, I can show it to everybody.
Yeah.
There's just so much stuff when you talk about the XFL. I feel like anytime you do, we're just going to be like, wait, are you serious? Is that a joke? You just never know.
Yeah, they need better. They need better like halftime entertainment. It sounds like, but but it sounds like they're on the right path here.
It definitely sounds like something that is at least entertaining to watch, like on TV.
Yes, they're definitely gearing it to TV audiences. They definitely are. I think it is a good product. I wonder about the attendance they'll be able to sustain if they don't bring it to more of like a he hate me sort of game, because like it really is just like I'm just watching Illinois play like Wisconsin. Like that's what it feels like when I'm there.
It would be nice, like if you're gonna start a new football league, it would be nice if they like did stuff to take better care of the players' health, which I'm assuming I haven't read much about the XFL recently, but I'm assuming they have not done much in that regard.
I don't know about anything off the field, but they actually did modify kickoffs where both teams start on like the receiving team's 40-yard line, and they all line up, and they can't start running until the kick returner has caught the ball.
Okay. Well, how does that
makes it more dangerous, though?
Because people get most of the injuries, like a huge percentage of the injuries in football are like on the kickoff returns because there are people like full heads of steam slamming into other people with full heads of steam.
Yeah.
And so you can't really get going at full sprint with this new kickoff.
I got you. That makes sense.
So that is nice. Yeah.
That is good. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that's exciting. It sounds like they missed the point of what everybody likes about the memory of the XFL, and I would say this is probably doomed to fail even quicker. Once the money
needs to be goofier.
Once the money like completely dries up, but I don't know. Who knows? We live in hell. Vince McMahon has limitless money to spend on his made-up football league. So, all right. Well, we got a full fucking slate tonight of fun stuff. We got some juicy drama. We got some idiotic. We got some Chapo type content tonight. Chapo type sports content that Nathan found. I didn't want to start with the goofy stuff since we're kind of like on the XFL. The Trump visiting the White House. Trump's been visiting the White House for a while now. The Daytona 500. I believe this was kind of had been getting teased, I think, for about a week, is about how long I had been seeing it. It was announced that Trump was going to come take a lap in his limo called the Beast. That's like,
the Beast.
It can be like, bombed or whatever, not collapse, like, bulletproof, like up to cannonballs and all that kind of stuff. And so he took a lap. He came, but first here I'm gonna cut to it. He
through, and there's already so much build.
He flies in Air Force One
at Daytona International Speedway. The 46th
comes in, crowd's there, they're loving it. And apparently flew like 800 feet above the fucking event.
Yeah.
Never have
Just like
the excitement and
just winning the votes, winning re-election by blowing out the eardrums of 100,000 people in Daytona, Florida.
Well, it's pretty funny. So, like, if you notice, this tweet is from old fucking BuzzFeed Benny Johnson. It is the funniest thing about like this whole event was that like the absolute dumbest people like pretended like this was like some sort of like a lot of things with Trump, just pretended it was like just this incredible display of male virility and just pulsating testosterone, that this man came in on his jumbo jet and then drove around the car pretty slowly around
my president.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, this is the point. The big point I have on this is you described the Beast and how it's like indestructible, and then we watch the video and this car is just like crawling around Daytona at like 5-10 miles an hour. Fucking pump that baby. Let's go 100.
President Donald Trump, his car, entering the Daytona International Speedway. We're hearing he's going to take a
few laps. He's got his emergency blinkers on. He's got his hazards on.
You're Daytona, baby. Open up the throttle a little bit. I mean, the fear, of course, is he pulls a Dale Earnhardt and just slams right into the fucking wall. But if it's the Beast, the Beast is going to live through that. So let it go.
It's very funny. This article I found all this stuff on is like some sort of right-wing fucking blog that describes it as a 22,000-pound black beauty that has doors that are 8 inches thick with 5-inch windows. And according to a Fox News report, it's believed to have its own oxygen supply in case of biological or chemical attack, as well as protection against ballistics and explosives, built-in tear gas launchers, and emergency medical suite equipped with a supply of the president's blood type. So, KFC. Positive.
The president's blood type. Gravy.
Dude, they should have launched, if there are truly tear gas launchers, they should have launched that fucking thing into the crowd. Just, like... People just like thank you, Mr. President, thank you.
You love this, don't you? Trump thinks he has a t-shirt gun, but he really has like a mustard gas gun. Just poof. You love it, don't you, little piggies? You love it, my little hogs. You're gonna vote for me anyway.
Oh man.
Yeah, so it was pretty.
They loved it though. They fucking loved it.
But on the update for the Trump boo count that we've been, keeping, I would say this one was kind of a wash. He did get a USA chant when the plane flew over, apparently. But the event did get rained out. So...
that's positive.
Yeah, I think that one's kind of...
There was no Daytona? They canceled it?
No, they ran it today, I think. So...
Oh, shit.
So, this is
or last night.
I think I asked this when we were planning for the podcast. But is white supremacy like an integral part of NASCAR?
Well,
Like more so than like other sports.
So the thing is man, I am decreasingly respecting at this point. Dave Zirin brought up the point that so NASCAR like started as like some sort of like extension of like people like bootleggers who like outran the Klan and the cops. And so, like, Dave Zirin, like, pulled, like, the whole, like, liberal buy-your-own-logic bullshit, where he's like, well, like, actually, like, it's very ironic that you would celebrate this, considering, NASCAR has this, like, anti-fascist, like, background, essentially, is, like, what he was, like, he didn't call it that, but that's, like, what he was kind of, like, hinting at. It was like, dude, come on, shut the fuck up. Like... Dale Earnhardt, though, both of them, I want to say, they were pretty cool dudes. So,
That doesn't. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nate.
Like, I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
they were explicitly
I guess...
anti-racist, I believe.
But what does that say about? Okay, go ahead.
The sport is just so overwhelmingly white that I think it just like it just doesn't. I don't know.
Oh no, the family who runs it. The family who runs it are like huge Trump donors and shit like that. Yeah. So, so yeah, I mean, it is incredibly, and of course, Barstool has a fucking like direct partnership with the entire league. So, I believe Portnoy was at the event as well. I don't know if he was in the Beast. We're not sure where he was. But
where was the Daytona?
Daytona, Florida.
This year?
It's in the same place every year.
Daytona. It's in Daytona.
I knew that. That makes sense.
Though Portnoy was in the Beast, guzzling Trump's blood. He now has Hep C. That's what he has. But there's also the element of like, I'm there with anything that's like overwhelmingly white. Of course, it's going to attract a chuddy white supremacist audience, but also you have to take into effect that, like, to get a foot in the door of NASCAR, you have to go through all these lower rungs, and I'm pretty sure, like, you have to, like, the amount of money that you need for the car and
it's
to get up for, like
according to a guy I listened to on Zirin, who is like one of the first. He's like one of the, I don't know, first or where he ranks, I guess, in the pantheon, but he's basically one of the only black drivers to ever have existed. And he said, like, pretty much the entry to NASCAR is just like, do you have enough money, like, to do it? Yeah. Like, and he basically like kind of insinuated anyone with enough money could just do it if they wanted.
Hey, so it's colorblind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's true. Because the free market dictates who can join NASCAR, and the free market is scientific, and it's like it's Darwinistic.
And I'm pretty sure it also colorblind too, because I'm pretty sure if you poll the actual Daytona crowd, the percentage of people that would tell you straight-faced, I don't see color, is probably extremely high. That's probably a very high amount of people that would say that to you. So, in a way, it is colorblind, I think.
Yeah.
They just, they just don't like the bad ones, I think. If you're one of the good ones, you have nothing to worry about. There's, you can do NASCAR and hang out with NASCAR. If you just have to be one of the good ones.
Did you guys, by any chance, see Tim Anderson's response to Steve Stone the other day?
What did Steve Stone say?
I have not.
So, what'd you say, Adam?
What did Steve Stone say?
Yeah, tell the whole saga.
So Steve Stone was talking about how he's played with black people and brown people and Native Americans and different religions and different beliefs, and he said that none of that stuff matters as long as you can play the game. And he said it's a life lesson to learn. And Tim Anderson, this goes with the sport being NASCAR being colorblind but you actually have to pay to play. And Tim Anderson responds with it as what if you can play, but family don't have money to pay? Some can't learn that life lesson because they can't afford it. How can we get around that? That's really the foundation. That is, it's just something that you don't see very often, like athletes say explicitly like that, you know?
All the black ones generally say it, though, and it doesn't seem like anybody listens.
In baseball?
Kutch wrote a whole fucking Players Tribune article about it.
Kutch did, but...
Who's the other black... That's like the only two. There's CC.
On the other hand, the best black player to have ever played the game of baseball, Derek Jeter, has an opposing view on this subject, and so I think we just need to listen to both sides on it.
That's very true.
Yeah. So your point is heard, but ultimately rejected.
That is a fair point, though, Adam. I am kind of silencing a lot of black athletes and black baseball players by saying that they don't talk about it enough. There are a few who do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think, I mean, they probably also, I know for sure they were saying that, I don't know, 60 years ago too, and nobody listened then, and then just black people just stopped playing baseball. So it's now we got about 8 of them left, and like 25% of them have like come out writing like full page articles about it. So.
Yeah, sure.
Jesus. Does this lead us into a Trevor Bauer thing?
I want to say
MLB?
I want to say to Trevor Bauer. Really, I don't want to go into Trevor Bauer yet.
We're doing
Trevor Bauer.
Okay.
I want to save him for a bit. I want to see where we're at with time for the Trevor Bauer video. Like where I want to have a little bit. I want to have a little bit more. I want to know how this episode was shaping up. I'm trying. It's like it's not like a DJ. I'm like just it's like. Reading the crowd,
yeah.
And then I'm like,
thank God.
Yeah. So
despite whenever the audience is peaking, if you're on the Facebook, if you're on the YouTube listening to it, just type it in. I'm peaking. I'm about to peak. I'm at the peak, and then we'll go to Bauer.
Let us know when you're edgy.
Well, right now, I'm the only watcher on YouTube at the moment, and I have not peaked yet. So
okay.
You're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to say that we have lots of listeners and watchers.
My apologies. Sometimes my feeble brain gets twisted. I apologize.
No, the Molly will solve that.
Yes.
Bring it on, baby.
No, what I do want to do is I want to do the Barstool thing. Just because it's so fucking funny. It's very funny. To me.
Yes.
Very, very, very funny. So Trump at Daytona, also very funny. But so Portnoy, Dave Portnoy has an employee, and this is probably the most popular Barstool personality, I would say, outside of him, and then like the 3 big guys on Part of My Take or whatever. Or the 2 big guys or whatever that they're on that. What's his name? Paul Bissonnette. He hosts a very popular hockey podcast. What's up? What?
No, I was going to do a joke that probably wouldn't land. You go ahead, champ.
I mean, what else would be new if you did that?
I said go ahead.
What's that soundboard, man?
Oh yeah, shit! I keep forgetting the soundboard.
That would have been perfect.
Yeah, good one. Forgot the soundboard. I there's a lot to remember too when you're the DJ. Anyways, so Paul Bissonnette, he hosts one of the most popular podcasts I think in the entire podcast sphere. Definitely probably the most popular sports podcast, other than maybe the other Barstool one. Spitting Chicklets. It's a hockey podcast. So he had an article come out, just a puff piece. Like it was some Canadian podcast publication or something. Just like total like, just every puff piece you've ever read, like about like some fucking social media influencer where it's like, oh, they're too busy to talk to me, like always on the phone, seeing someone at the restaurant, talking to them, like we can't even get to the interview. And it's like the end of the message, like, and he finally spoke to me or whatever. It's like, it was just a dog shit ass article.
And Paul just gives and he gives and he gives and he just he's always on, and isn't that incredible, folks?
But he does have a dark side. Like, he does have demons. Like, maybe that's what's driving him constantly. Like, it was awful. It was just it was just one of those fucking things. So Paul, I would say, has a reputation as like one of the good ones. Like, that goes along with like PFT commentator from Barstool as being like, oh look, I'm not a fan of Barstool, but like you can't disagree that that's like a good guy or whatever, blah blah. Facts, I can disagree, and I'm about to. Anyways, so basically this article kind of like was like painting him as like, oh, like this guy is this voice of change in hockey, in a sport, and like professional culture that like desperately needs a facelift or whatever, and the thing is about Paul Bissonnette is that he is not like a remarkable change from hockey culture. He got very famous on Twitter initially just for kind of like doing like a Ball 4 type approach to like behind the scenes hockey culture. He doesn't like everything with Barstool. It's supposed to be like this like new face and like more personable face, but it's really just like a well marketed version for the 21st century of the exact same like bro culture that's always been a part of sports. Like, it doesn't offer anything new at all.
Yes.
And that's what I mean. So people think that Paul Bissonnette is this really brave guy because essentially he just says CTE is bad. Like, he says like, oh, like I have physical trauma left over from playing hockey. Like, that's like the extent of like his bravery. Is that like, which I guess the NHL, went to court to like and settled so that they still don't have to say that CTE is real. So I guess to people who are in the hockey world, this is an incredibly brave statement, I guess, to be making.
The bar's so low.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about this. So this article, like I said, kind of like they're showcasing this as like this brave new hustler or voice, and this man who's like hustling and like killing himself personally inside to like save hockey because he just loves hockey, and he loves the players, and like that's why these players like relate to him, and it never is like promoted as maybe like the players relate to him because they're all fucking assholes, like like they're all dicks, like they're all kind of shitty people, like that's why they like him. So because Jeremy Roenick, enter Jeremy Roenick, who a few weeks ago, I can't remember if we covered this or not, got fired. Well, he got suspended and then got fired like 2 days ago for going on Spitting Chicklets and saying he wanted to have a threesome with one of his co-hosts and his wife.
Hell yeah.
So
that's just swinger lifestyle. Let's just do it. Let's go.
So Roenick got fired for this. And I would say that kind of is very like emblematic of generally the content that you find on Chicklets. Like, that is not like, it is like, he got into hot water. Like, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on like why Paul Bissonnette is bad because I don't find that very interesting. Like, you can figure that out. Like, but he recently had Ty Domi on, who said some very stupid things about women's hockey. Like he just really is essentially just like a Don Cherry that like jokes about giving people a wedgie while he's on blow. Like like I mean he's just not. Yeah. He is with like other than like he's never had any just openly racist rants. He is just Don Cherry. He's just Don Cherry with like a fucking Justin Trudeau sheen over the top of him.
So what do you think is the appeal? Like, go into that more, because it's just sort of like he's a bright young guy.
The appeal is that he, like I said, I mean he's like a lot of ways with Barstool is that like Barstool does like athletes do identify with them and give them a little bit more of like I guess the real scoop, but like like so that's one thing. Like you could have written a piece on. I guess, like, like he's getting hockey players who are, like, notoriously difficult to open up to, like, tell stories about themselves. Whether that is indicative of, like, that they're being good people or not important necessarily to, like, this. Like, there's an easy article right there. Instead, they had to make it like this guy's the fucking savior, an incredible man. Saving the game. So, so Roenick was
also, like... One little addendum to that, too. I like how the first part of that article was like, Paul is teaching Phoenix about hockey. They made a big point to say, like, Phoenix, every time he goes to anybody... Phoenix has had an NHL team for 25 years.
Austin Matthews is literally from Phoenix.
Yeah, and he talks... to anybody from Phoenix, and they're like, "What's hockey? What is that? Like, is that a game?
Yeah,
what is that?" He's like, "I will tell you what it is. Follow me. Take my hand." And that's how
they do literally do that. Yeah. So I mentioned the Jeremy Roenick story because this will be important later. Because now we have to. Now it's time to enter the tweets. So a couple people kind of like got hold of it and started like doing tweets. One guy who's a good follow Joe at Joe Pack. He's a good hockey follow if you're interested. He just said he just screen capped it, the article, and said, like, hockey just can't wait to reanimate Don Cherry's body. Just a bajillion fucking... he had to lock his account for a while because, like, all the Bissonnette stands were in his mentions, like, threatening his life or whatever, calling him a homo or something. Who knows? Some shit like that, you know.
Roenick? No. Sorry. Oh, sorry, yeah.
So this guy, Joe Pack. So...
Joe Pack, yeah.
So Daniel Curcio, who... is kind of similar in a way to Bissonnette in that he is so he's this kind of advocate for he's kind of an anti-advocate for the game. He used to also be like an enforcer. He has like lots of head trauma issues. He's like spoken out about it. He's like a big guy. He's like really big into weed, which also Bissonnette is as well. Is very big into like weed, like solving his head trauma issues or his anger issues or whatever. Curcio also, I would say the important is distinction. I mean, I don't really much care for this guy because I'm sure outside of like the stuff that he says about hockey, he probably is not. He probably doesn't have very interesting politics at best. He kind of like comes across as like a really big like he comes across as very sanctimonious, and yeah. Anyways, which is not really super important to this. Like, but. I do want to point out that I just want to say that I think that this is kind of a like let them both fight situation once we get into it. So I'd say the key distinction between Curcio and Bissonnette is Curcio like has openly said like I like hockey. I think like really played a part in me becoming like a really bad person who was extremely homophobic, extremely racist, just like an all around unpleasant and unfulfilling life that he was like that he feels that hockey and hockey culture like played a part in like creating for him, and he didn't realize this until he got out of hockey, and he's like genuinely seems to have like tried to make amends with like a lot of people. Specifically, he's tried to make amends allegedly with Bissonnette. So Garcia tweets out, and I'm gonna cut to here. Garcia tweets out that he thinks that that this piece is damage control over the Roenick thing. To like make it be like, oh, like Chicklets is good, like we still like it's still because the NHL has like been like really pushing like a lot of partnerships. They sell like this shitty vodka based off of, like one of the hosts, and they talk about definitely how chips are Spittin' Chicklets is interesting in that it has a audience that's like hardcore guys who just want to hear the sex and drug stories, but also like he can partner with like very PG brands and like make money that way. So just like the whole article, like they talk about like what do they call it? They call them like he can partner with like a lot of our initiatives or whatever. Like it's like there's like a huge section of just like straight up fucking like marketing corporate-y speak that's just fucking awful.
Yes.
So Garcia tweets that, and then did I not get it? Oh no, yeah, here we go. So Bissonnette basically accuses him of he goes, "Oh, do you remember when you used to call me the N-word every day, and you wore a swastika hoodie or something like that until someone told you not to?" But he spelled swastika wrong, and he spelled it in the way that's like the Hindu thing, so no one's really sure if he means like he thought it was like funny to wear the one that like wasn't a real swastika, or like no one knows. That's what, or like I don't know, because he's like Garcia's like Mexican, so like I don't know if he had some. Anyways, who knows? What is important is that like. Allegedly, like Garcia had like apologized to Bissonnette about this like 2 years ago and said like, I'm really sorry, like that was like a part of me that like I deeply regretful for blah blah blah, and then like so Bissonnette just like launches this out to be like, because like he like apparently like every Barstool guy just cannot enjoy their own success, like they literally. Because, like, everything to these people is just being beloved. Like, that's the most important thing to them. Is, like, the end goal of Barstool, and like, or for, like, the personalities involved, is to have everyone like you. Like, everyone give you a follow and say, I like you. Like, that's their goal. Like, it's not even necessarily about money. Yeah. It is 100% about they want everybody on Earth to like them. Like,
do you know... This has happened about a half dozen times to me, and this has happened like 3 or 4 times at the XFL game, actually. Because, PFT commentator was a big topic of discussion at the XFL game because he had done a piece about trying out to be the kicker of the DC team. And there was a lot of Barstool people there for that reason. There were chants of PFC in the stands. And then I had some friends, and they were like, "Oh yeah," they know my leadings, and they're like, yeah, P, you don't like that PFC, right?" Like, and I'm like, PFT, "No, not really." PFT. And they're like, "Whatever, give a fuck who he is." KFC, the KFC commentator.
KFC's another Barstool guy.
Jesus Christ, these people! But they're like, he's one of the good ones, right? Like, they defaulted to that, like he's one of the good ones, and I went. If he was so good, why is he at Barstool? And to a person, they all said the same thing, which was never okay, fine, whatever. Like I wasn't being aggressive about it. I was just like, if he's a good guy, I'm not going to listen to it. If he's a good guy, why is he at Barstool? Every single one of them were just like, no, you need to listen. Like everything would be fixed if you listened. You have to listen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? No, I don't have to listen. I won't listen.
Yeah.
But they would not accept it. Like, I just won't enjoy it. I'm just not gonna choose to enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing is too with like Barstool that like I find like exceptionally pathetic is that like first off, like I was trying to I spent all day like trying to think of like a Felix Biederman type character for like these kind of guys that like really really like Barstool, and I just couldn't do it because I mean he's a genius and I'm not, but like so the thing that kind of strikes me though, I will say, that's so pathetic about them is that they will get online all the time, and especially when things like this happen, they start name searching like for a person that they are not this. They go and they act like complete idiots about someone who doesn't even care if they're like who they are, doesn't give a shit. It's like such a deep parasocial relationship that they have with these people that they really do think they know them. And I think there's a huge distinction to be made between like what things that like we do and the people we work with do. Because I was thinking about it, because like when Amy Teresi like tried to shit on Brett and Brian and Leslie Lee and Jake Flores, like those guys, and like try to call them like ladder climbers or clout farmers or whatever, like just in it for the clout. I said something about it, but like the difference is that like the things that we do and the people we associate and like the project that we're working under is we actually do care about the people who like consume our product. Like we want to know those people. We want to care about them. Like we want them to take part in this. Like, like it's like when you go to like a live show for Street Fight, like it's very participatory. Like it is about the people listening just as much as it is about the people creating it. And like that's what Barstool really likes to pretend sort of that they do. But like I think they don't even really pay that much lip service to it. It's a lot of like I'm getting mine. Like you have to earn your spot with us. Like if you want to be a part of it, like we'll let you be a part, but like we're gonna haze the fuck out of you until you get to this point. We're not gonna care about who you are until enough people, you hit the tipping point. Enough people say you've gotten the amount of like that we will respect. Then we will like you. And then it's also very transactional. Like it's just like it's
saying Barstool doesn't respect each and every person that attends their spring break Cancun beach party / kegger. Are you saying that they don't respect intrinsically them? Because I've seen the videos, I've seen the smoke shows, I've seen the bros, and I think it's a beautiful kind of experience.
Yeah, I mean it's just incredibly pathetic to me.
All you have to do is look at what do they literally call Dave Portnoy? El Presidente, the president, which is sick. It's sad and it's sick.
They all think that they all act like he is their boss. Like, which is very strange to be like the guy who entertains me, I want him to be my boss. Like I want him to be my father figure. I want him to like
daddy.
Be like a fucking El Duce to me. Like
please bust my union, daddy.
It's a daddy kink. You can't kink shame them.
If it does that, I deeply apologize. If it is a sexual thing for you, then I'm sorry. But if it's just...
There's so many... Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
There's just so many times, and this is a thing, too, that is really weird about Barstool and Portnoy, is that people will find content for them. I've noticed they'll find fun stuff on the internet, and they'll at Portnoy and go, President, dear leader, daddy, what do you think about this? And they're just doing Barstool's job for them. So here's some stuff. Please cover this. What's your take, daddy?
Well, it's about getting the to get like that's what it's about. It's about like enough. And I'm not gonna like sit here and try and pretend like I don't love getting fucking faves on my tweets and shit. Like I'm not above this. Like I live for the faves. I live for the retweets. I love them. But, like, that is one thing that always strikes me. And it strikes me, too, about, like, a lot of the things in the media class in general is that, like, a lot of these people who, like, obsess over, like, how people like them in this very specific and honestly, like, impersonal and, like, very transactional way, like, honestly, their tweets don't even do as good of numbers as mine. And I don't do good numbers. You know, like because like the people that I associate with online are people who actually like take the time to like know who you are and like enjoy the kind of content. Like even just I didn't even realize it, but like I was talking to Nick Hayes, you know, the guy that's starting memes and one of the guys starting memes, and he was just mentioning, you know, like like some specifics about the planners that I'm making, you know. Like, fucking El Prez doesn't give a shit about that. He would never give a shit about your personal life, like little things that you're posting that he finds interesting. He would never say a nice thing to you ever.
Portnoy would, if you told him about your bonsais, Portnoy would call you a slur, and then secondly, would do that thing that one fan did to the Auburn tree, where they just fucking poisoned it and just poisoned your bonsais while calling you slurs.
And then he would take pictures of me in the shower.
No, he wouldn't. Yes, he would. He would do that, but he wouldn't even poison your bonsai. He would just tweet out to his thousands of lackeys, the first one who poisons at Crappy Oats bonsai trees, like I will like record a cameo for you, like that, and then they would do it. They would put their lives on the line. They would die for a Portnoy cameo. They would do this.
It's very strange. It is very strange stuff. It's you know, I gotta say I gotta ask our resident black voice. Have you seen a black person into Barstool? Have you seen a black stoolie?
I haven't.
I don't think I have. I mean, I'm sure there is one. There is a guy who is black who works for Barstool, who does the basketball podcast, and he is probably the only one I would maybe arguably call one of the good ones.
Really?
Well, I give him a pass because he's black. That's honestly what it is.
Yeah, well, when
I mean, he's got to make it. He's got to take advantage of white supremacist structures. Like he's just living in white supremacist America.
Hey, if you want, how about as a homework assignment for next week, I can do a little digging on this guy, and then I can, because you don't want to call him trash. That's fine, I get it.
Sure.
But I can do my due diligence, and then I can call him trash for you.
Sounds like fun.
Although I will say it's Black History Month, so I'm trying to not trash so many black people. I'm all about uplifting us for this month at least. So I have not said anything bad about Obama. Haven't had any bad things to say about Stephen A. Smith. What's that? Charles Barkley. I've left him alone. So I've been good.
March 1st. Come 3-1. Your ass is gone.
Yeah, that's right.
Détente is over.
So just to wrap this one up, this is kind of where I did want to go with this. Is I just kind of wanted to reiterate like where we're at with Barstool, that they still all fucking suck, and they are very emblematic, I think, of the times that we live in, where a lot of people will. I mean, it's just very cowardly shit, and we've said this like a million times. I've called PFT a coward like I think 9 times on the show at this point, where it's just you can't. It's like you could just not work there. but no, before we get off this, yes. I do want to show this one thing, because Roenick is really the most pathetic in this situation. Because now this man's out of a job and now angling Aubrey Huff style to get put on Barstool. But he tweeted out, here, wait, do you guys have it? I sent you it. It's the picture that Roenick posts. So if you scroll up,
I saw it.
Anyway,
him punching the guy.
Yeah, let me resize a little bit. So Roenick posted this, which because basically they made this article and then they fired Roenick, and so Roenick posts this, Good Night Dan, and that is Dan Carcio in there, getting a pretty infamous cheap shot, if I remember correctly, when, that nobody was really a fan of. So Ronick really just coming out of this looking really awful, and don't know if he's getting that three-way.
Yeah,
he might still,
But at the end of the day, the main takeaway is 2 points. One, if you are a fan of Barstool, you are a bug. You're a bug person. And the sad thing is you like being treated like a bug. You like being treated like slime. And just reevaluate what inside of you likes being treated like a little bug man. So just think about that.
A little bug man.
It's very true. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know really why you would want. I mean, it's all in good fun to rib your friends a little bit, but I don't really know why you'd really want to be a part of something that is designed to make you feel like shit all the time, and embrace a culture that is about making people feel really bad about themselves constantly and insecure and feel like they have to say outrageous, mean things to get people to like them, and you spend your entire time convinced, trying to figure out if everyone really loves you or not. It sounds really fucking bad, actually.
And on to our next segment: who's hot and who's not?
Smoke shows of Southpaws. So yeah,
trains. We just smoke. The Southpaw smoke shows are just like really good trains. Just really nice, sleek.
So yeah, I think my final thought is just kind of like it's just it just is very sad to me that they kind of represent a lot of things very antithetical to just like how we like to do things. Not even just Southpaws, but our friends that we do stuff with too, who also podcast, and like the kind of media thing that people are trying to build. It's just. It's not about like making people feel like they can't do this or they can't contribute or they don't have like important things to say or that the only thing that's important is everybody liking you.
Yeah.
Because I mean, everybody's not gonna like you. Like I hate. I don't know if you need to hear that.
I know. You know what vibes it has, and I know we're getting too belabored on this subject, but like it really has very strong Opie and Anthony vibes.
How do you mean? Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Oh,
yeah.
Just the way that Opie and Anthony were just like, if you don't listen to us, fuck you, and if you listen to us, fuck you. Like, that kind of thing. Like, that's very the style of it, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it's very sad shit. We'll be back, I'm sure. Anyways, so on to something equally as deplorable, but far less entertaining, I guess. I don't really get why anybody likes this shit. The Federalist. The Federalist has gotten into sports. They don't have a sports editor. I looked this guy up who wrote this story. I think one of his last stories was calling what's his face? Bill Kristol, calling him a leftist.
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where this guy's mind is at. But David Marcus. Really? Are you sure? Bill
I'm
Kristol?
asking you.
Bill Kristol, the architect of the Iraq War, or one of the architects of selling the Iraq War. That's.
Hey, but just trying to play devil's advocate.
To be fair, Bill Kristol did in one of his op-eds calling for the Iraq War. He said that the Iraqi military needs more female generals, and so
very well.
In that way,
of color,
kind of left. Yeah, of
pretty
color.
leftist, honestly. Pretty fucking
more female Iraqi generals of color.
pretty fucking communist thought right there. Anyways, Dave Marcus wrote an article titled "Why Nobody Should Throw at the Houston Astros to Seek Revenge." So, this is a very poorly written article. Another one. This one is, I would say, worse written. The other one was at least technically proficient in a style that I abhor, but this one,
yes,
technically sounds like it was written by a child. Houston Astros manager Dusty Baker is worried in the wake of the sign-stealing scandal that put an asterisk around the team's 2017 World Series championship. He fears opposing pitchers may target his players with fastballs in an act of revenge.
Absolutely, yes.
I hope they hit him every single game. I hope every pitcher gets a turn.
Just tag in.
Yeah. I'm depending on the league to try and put a stop to the seemingly premeditated retaliation that I'm hearing about, Baker said. In most instances in life, you get kind of reprimanded when you have premeditated anything. I'm just hoping the league puts a stop to this before someone gets hurt. So he's saying that you can't prepare to hit somebody with a fastball.
But if you do it in the
he is depending on the league to administer any sort of punishment, which I think might be a mistake.
True. And this bullshit about stopping it before anyone gets hurt. Somebody was already hurt. Who is that White Sox pitcher, Farquhar? Hit with the heart attack gun?
True. It's true.
Someone has already gotten hurt.
The brain gun, right?
Yeah,
they just switched the settings.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Still some form of McKinsey technology bought from the CIA or whatever.
So Dusty, people have already been hurt by this, Dusty.
Yeah.
So
he seems to have reason to be worried. Ross Stripling, a pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers, the team the Astros swindled out of a World Series ring, has expressed a possible willingness to throw at the Stros if given the chance. I thought about that if I was going to the Angels because they open in Houston, right? Stripling said per the Houston Chronicle. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's a good question. Would I do it? I would lean towards yes, in the right time, in the right place. Maybe I give up 2 runs the inning before and got some anger going. Who knows? But yeah, it would certainly be on my mind. Cheating has long been a part of baseball's storied history. Pitchers scuff the ball or use foreign substances such as Vaseline to improve the movement of pitches. Hitters cork their bats to add power, turning pop flies into home runs. During the late 1990s, as Barry Bonds transformed from speedy outfielder into disgustingly large Negro. Hey, it was a Federalist. I was trying.
You should have handed that one over, man.
Oh, sorry.
No, he actually changed that from a word that's much worse than Federalist to describe.
I just probably shouldn't be saying Negro at all.
Okay, I was trying to make a Federalist joke.
History Month especially.
That's true.
You've been tut-tutted.
Wait.
You in check.
Is there a sound effect you can hit to signify your game?
Oh, yeah. I'm in the penalty box. Okay. And Mark McGwire was hitting homers like the Gas House Gorillas of Bugs Bunny fame. It was obvious to everyone that steroids were being used. And yes, sign stealing is old as the game. I do love this one because this is the reactionary mind at work. That they just oscillate between whatever people don't like, essentially. Like any sort of law being created, if it they just don't like this, they just like the opposite. It's
also,
a very
does he not recall A-Rod getting plunked like after he came out with the steroid thing like a few years ago, like immediately, like the first game back at Fenway.
Yeah.
They should have renamed this article "Ban Anything That Might Make Baseball Exciting." Like anything that makes any cool storyline that will bring the MLB like some form of heat or relevance. Ban it. Stop this from happening.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm pretty sure if I was a more casual baseball fan, I would much rather tune in to see how many times the Astros are going to get hit by pitches.
Absolutely.
Than I would to see who the first seed is going to choose to play in the playoffs or something.
The Dodgers and Astros, like the ratings for that first time they meet are going to be astronomical because they're going to be brawls. People are going to want blood.
literal bloodshed.
Yes.
Vince McMahon. Kidding.
Yeah. So basically, he kind of goes on to talk about. He starts citing statistics about how dangerous throwing at hitters are, and how the league has imposed heavy fines and draft penalties on Houston. One can make a compelling argument that the players should have faced punishment, but if so, it should come from Major League Baseball, not vigilante pitchers hurling 90-mile-an-hour fastballs at people.
90. I went 100. Let's go 100.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like it's not going to be a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Like Ozzie Guillen said like 10 years ago, if you're going to hit a guy, you bring in the dude who throws the hardest out of your bullpen, and you take out their biggest guy. That's a terrible sentence. 90-mile-an-hour fastball. It's not going to happen.
He then goes on to say, none of this is to say pitchers with a grudge shouldn't throw inside to send a message. That is, after all, a regular feature of baseball. And if a batsman gets hit, well, it happens. So
a batsman. So
you can incidentally drill a guy, but you can't intentionally hit a guy. And if he gets injured that way, that's just normal part of the game. There is a difference between a purpose pitch with a chance of landing and rearing back to intentionally risk injuring a batter. Frankly, if pitchers want to do the latter, the manlier thing to do would just be challenge some Astros to a fist fight. So,
to be fair, despite the fact he called it a manlier thing, that's whatever. But also, I mean, I wouldn't mind watching that either.
Yes. I would not mind a fist fight between the Houston Astros on one side and on the other side, all other 29 MLB teams. Like, that would be a pretty fun thing.
I just really don't get, and I don't know, I couldn't tell if this guy, I think this guy's a Mets fan, so I don't really understand why he's behaving like this, because, I mean, he is behaving like the Houston fans, which, the Houston fans are, like, now just, like, mad that everyone's not just, like, moving on with their lives. Like, they're doing, like, the classic, like, abuser move of just, like, well, I can't believe you haven't fucking gotten over this yet. Like, it's just, like, it's like, we said we were sorry. And, like, Carlos Correa is, like, saying, like, he's, like, mad that people, like, he's essentially saying that, like, you're an asshole for not, like, accepting his apology.
Yeah.
Like,
Jesus.
You know, Rob Manfred did say too that there are going to be some addendums coming out this week to address the like hit by pitches in general, which definitely seems like a response to like the vigilante justice that's on the way.
I mean, every single team is going to hit them. Like, everybody's going to take their chance or their shot. Like, they all deserve a shot. I mean, people are very, very, like, they're understandably extremely upset. We were talking about this in the DM. Like, I mean, like, a guy like you, Darvish, like, probably lost out on, like, $35-ish million because of this.
Yeah.
I mean, he straight up got a much worse contract than, like, everybody was assuming he would have gotten because he pitched so badly in the World Series. And now it's, like, coming out, because remember, what's really funny, too, is I think, like, they also, like, couldn't, like, not, like, tell everybody they were getting away with it. Like, they were, like, they had, like, that compulsion where it's, like, they had to, like, tell on themselves. Because remember they said, like, they're like, oh, Darvish was tipping his pitches, like, after he did that.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I mean, but I just don't get what this guy's point of this article is. Like, where he's, like, trying to go with it. It's just like, he's just, like, he doesn't make any compelling points at all. Like,
maybe the point is to subtly let people know, like the players, to remind them that, like, hey, if you're gonna hit these guys, just don't make it so obvious. I feel like that
would require more cunning than a Federalist writer has, to be honest. I think.
Shots fired.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I get that he's like, oh, like, I don't want people to get hurt, I guess. But at the same time, he doesn't, like, really, like, make any compelling argument, like, why, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess, like, he doesn't make any sort of like actual moralistic argument. He just starts going on about like how like, oh well, lots of people have cheated and they also got drilled with baseballs. Like, you know, like he doesn't like make any like, I mean, I guess he like kind of says like, oh, like people could get injured really badly, but he never says like, he never even makes like an argument where it's like, oh, like you know, like, is that really, like, you know, on one hand, they did cost this guy a lot of money, like, you know, should you, like if MLB isn't going to, like, hand out, like, actual punishment, like, is that what they're encouraging? Like, there, I guess is, like, something, there's obviously something interesting to talk about here, like, if,
Definitely.
like...
It's also unclear...
Go ahead.
It's unclear, like, is he against retaliatory hit-back pitches in general, or is he just against, like, you can, that's great, like, if a guy bat flips, drill him, but this is the wrong scenario to do that in.
Well, okay, so he ends it with that everyone will know.
I love this end.
He
I
goes,
love this
he
ending.
goes, aside from the penalties already placed on the 2017 World Champions by MLB, the Astros will suffer a firmer and more painful form of penance. The championship itself is forever tainted. First off, they've already said that it doesn't bother them at all. They've literally said this. So, wrong. You're wrong. Like the 1919 Black Sox, this team will forever be known as the one that cheated. Whatever glory they felt as they lifted the trophy or slipped the World Series rings on their deceitful little fingers is gone. Once again, Altuve straight up said, we were a very good team and we would have won it regardless. They are not bothered by this. They're clearly not bothered by this because Verlander's making jokes about it and Carlos Correa is yelling at everybody for being mad about it. So the last paragraph is, perhaps worse, the disgraced players will always wonder, as long as they live, if they could have won without cheating. Wrong! They've already said they could have.
Wrong.
If they could have maintained their dignity and still taken the crown. As to those players who want revenge, the best revenge is living well, or in this case, winning a championship fair and square. If they want to punish the Astros, there can be no better way to do it. So I think that's. Oh, go ahead, Nathan.
So, you know, I have some experience with this because I can tell you lived experience. I was an Illinois basketball fan in 2004, 2005. The North Carolina basketball team beat Illinois in the championship. It came out later that almost every player on that North Carolina team were taking fake classes, not going to class, just absolutely just fucking cheating as far as academics. Now, whether that's right or wrong, that's another question. But the point is they should have been all ineligible. Like, that's the case. It's absolutely. And it's not just the regular cheating that we see, but it was like a systemized, everyone's cheating, everyone's doing it. Every single one of those motherfuckers should have been ineligible, not able to take the floor. Does anyone remember that? Or do they remember that North Carolina won the championship in 2005? That's the only fucking thing they remember. I know that this is fucking fake because I've lived through it. They don't fucking care. People don't care. They go, oh, who won that year? It's going to be the Astros. The Astros won that year. The only way that it could have been different is if you had fucking banned every player on the team for a year. Or you had fucking done something like every pitcher gets to line up and nail one of their players in the back. Like, that's policy. The only way. It never fucking happens. It never is just like, oh, time will vindicate. No, it fucking doesn't. Time is a cruel mistress, and it will not vindicate you.
Unless you do something like kick them out of baseball forever, like the Black Sox. That's why everybody remembers that. Also, the Black Sox didn't win. Like, so it is. I think my kind of like last thing here is this obviously reminds me very much of the Ben Shapiro book on baseball, where conservatives have to write about baseball because it's like the fucking like it's like the thing that speaks to the time period that they like idealize in their head. So of course like they have to pretend to like baseball. But when they write about it, they clearly have like never watched a baseball game. They've like maybe watched The Sandlot one time and like, but like they just like they do this like very performative this like performative thing about sports where it's just like clear they've like never watched one with any sort of like actual attention at all, or like have any sort of like realistic idea of what an athlete is actually like, or like what makes a good team. Like they just love these fucking like made up platitudes, and that's honestly why watching the Nationals win the World Series fucking sucked. Because
no. I mean, that writer would be like, actually, no. When at Dartmouth, I watched one game of the varsity team, and one of the batsmen hit 3 rounders in one contest.
Exactly. Like that's just like how it fucking reads. Like it just reads like some aping of the fucking Ken Burns documentary. Like it's just.
Yes.
I mean, I would say like on terms of like if we're gonna rank this as egregiously like reactionary as the Ben Shapiro book, it doesn't even register on that. But it does just kind of like it is a nice little microcosm of the conservative sports fan, where it just like is all part of their like performative masculinity that they do. That is just becoming increasingly more absurd and ironic in the Trump age, when when your ideal of male virility is a KFC guzzling fucking blob of a man. So,
even beyond that,
or Stephen Miller.
Aren't the Federalists never Trumpers? Like, aren't they? That's what they are. So I feel like the Federalist form of masculinity is like very waspy. It's just like how is that going to compete? How is your like fucking like at Brown we all rowed and we got to row out to William Buckley's longshore boat, and that's their masculinity, and they cannot compete with the Trump like I'm gonna fucking just gun a lap of Daytona, like, fly a fucking jumbo jet. Like, they can't compete.
That's true.
Masculinity is stupid.
It is real lame.
Fancy lads. Federalist fancy lads.
Yeah. Okay, so last thing is another hilarious performer of masculinity. The old Trevor Bauer. I didn't get to follow this on Twitter. I don't know if you guys did. I can't remember if you guys were blocked by him too. But like, I haven't seen a Trevor Bauer tweet without being told that it existed in 2 years, I think, at this point. But I'm gonna cut to oh shit. Well, you can hear it, Maurice. I forgot that we can hear stuff now. So we're gonna watch through this at the end. Trevor Bauer is very mad about the other baseball development, where Rob Manfred wants to change the playoffs. So let us watch. Trevor, remember this is in many puff pieces, just like the Paul Bissonnette one. Trevor Bauer has been lauded in the same way as a social media hustler, a man who commands attention, and it just speaks to the new fan of the game. So here we go.
We good?
Let's go.
All right. It is late. I'm sick. I don't have much of a voice. And I'm really, really upset about this new ridiculous playoff policy that Rob Manfred has suggested or proposed. Or
I just want to point out real quick that Trevor Bauer clearly cuts his own hair. He clearly runs a buzzer over his own head. He looks like a fucking tennis ball. You make $20 million a year. Too. What?
He definitely thinks he does a great job too.
I don't think he thinks that. He thinks it's funny to cut his own hair, but secretly does think, that it's better than if he went and got it. Like he's like, why would I pay like some homo to cut my hair?
Absolutely.
And when I actually do a pretty decent job, like,
yeah.
I don't even know how it got on the internet. I don't know why it would even get on the internet. It's that ridiculous. Like, just reading through it without even thinking about it for a second, they're just wrong. Like, who put this out without thinking of the fact that the best team in the league is going to get a 6-day layoff, a 7-day layoff, while we sort out this whole 3 games here and this wild card, and we're going to pick our opponent, and we're going to do this whole reality TV stuff. Meanwhile, the best team in baseball is sitting at home waiting for all this crap to transpire. God forbid someone's ace pitches 4 days before the end of the regular season and then has 10 days in between starts. And this isn't football where you can heal up, and that helps. Like, being on a routine is so important in baseball. We play for 6 months, and now you're going to say at the most critical time of the year that we're going to get 10 days off maybe, or the 6 days in between games, and who knows how the pitching rotation lines up and all this different stuff, and that's supposed to be a benefit? That's supposed to be the best team in baseball gets this benefit?
Dude,
These are just some things that come off the top of my head.
He's just
the
trying
first time
to
I
do
read through the
the
proposal, I
epic
haven't even
rant
had time
so
to think
bad.
about this. I just read it like an hour ago, and I just am so beside myself with
He doesn't have the momentum.
Rob Manfred and his ridiculous rule changes that he keeps proposing.
It's
We're
just
gonna
not
move
even
the
that
mound back
serious
2
because
feet.
you know this
We're gonna
isn't
have
going to
a 3 batter
actually.
minimum.
They
We're
fucking
gonna-
say they say crazy
get
shit like this every year.
The game's under 3 hours because that's what
We're going to
fans
listen
want.
to
Fans don't care
the
if
media
game's
part,
2
the
hours
social
and
media part coming
57
up.
minutes or 3
Yeah,
hours.
yeah.
The reason that you wanted to do that in the first place is because all the people that own media companies that own baseball teams are the ones that voted you in as commissioner in the first place. So you're protecting them. So in that case, you should probably know something about media. You should probably understand what people are connecting with. Since those are the people that voted you in as commissioner, you should probably understand something about media. So I don't want to rant too much, but like,
He's only going to rant for
God, I
another 4
just have to
minutes.
get this off my chest. But I want to focus on some solutions, some things we can do in media. Like, Rob, if you understood
Hire
media, maybe as a
Barstool.
commissioner
No.
of baseball, you could solve some of these things. Like how in
I
one
think
of
the
your
Barstool
biggest
guys think
markets,
that Bauer's
half the
is a
fans
pussy
can't
or
even watch the
something.
damn game
Yeah,
because
I'm
of
serious
TV
about that
deals.
one.
Like, I grew up, what got me into baseball is I grew up going to see it one Dodger game a year. I'd go to one a year. We didn't have money to go to more than that. I'd sit out in the bleachers. We'd listen to Vince Scully on the radio with my dad. But we watched Dodger games all the time. I was sitting in bed at night watching Dodger games. This is what
Wearing
got
his
me into
baseball
baseball.
pants
Half the
to
people in
school.
local markets have blackouts. They buy the MLB package to watch their favorite team, and they can't even watch their favorite team half the time. I know that's not all on Rob, but as the commissioner, figure it out, man. Like, how are we supposed to spread the game? How are we supposed to get people interested, young people, the missing generation of baseball fans? How are we supposed to get them interested in the game when they can't even see the damn game?
I kind of like how Trevor
they
has
can't
like
even go to
pivoted.
Twitter where all the young
Like
people
now
hang
that
out.
it's
You
come
can't
out
even
that
go to
he's
social media
just like
and
not
see
really that
anything
good
about the
of a
game.
pitcher, and his like
Steph
weird
Curry throws a
shit
bounce
doesn't
pass
fucking
in an
work.
NBA game,
Like
and
now
it-
he's
it's
like,
trending
oh,
with
like now I'm gonna
1.5
like be
million
the
views
social
5
media
minutes later,
wizard. Like
and
I
Donald Trump
understand,
goes and launches himself
I
around
understand
the
the
homer or something,
internet,
and you can't
like
find the
in a
highlight
way
anywhere
that like
online.
the orthodoxy
Ridiculous.
does not get.
It got banned that Baseball Advanced Media that was designed to just centralize all MLB content and force people to pay to have access to it.
They didn't hire me,
Great, you
fuck
made a lot
them.
of money up front. But you centralize all this content, you make people pay for it, and you know what you get? You get a missing generation of fans. You make some money up front, great, and you miss a generation of fans. And
He's
the
not
game
wrong
is
on this
losing
point. He's an asshole, but he's
popularity,
not wrong.
especially amongst young people. I mean, let's not even talk about like the shoes, the cleats. Oh, hey, Mike Clevenger, you can't wear those shoes that are colorful that everybody on Twitter likes because it violates our stupid cleat policy where you get 3 colors of cleats. Like, I mean, what does it even matter? Just let the players express themselves.
That is
have
true.
some personality. You want to market the game?
It's true.
Don't change it. Don't make the mound 62 feet. Don't make playoffs where you have to pick your opponent and
It is ironic
whatever.
he doesn't like the fucking
Market the players.
It
You
is
have
kind of
more
funny
players
he doesn't like the like reality show
in baseball
thing
than
for
any
the
other
playoffs.
league with a much more
but like
diverse
he's like saying like
backgrounds.
make it
worldwide.
wilder, make people really like this
More
stuff.
so than any of the other major American sports. And it's the least marketable. Because you make stupid decisions about how you market the players. You don't open it up. Let content go. Get it out there. Quit with this stupid cleat policy.
Okay.
Stupid
So
Oh, thank God. That voice is very
I
hard
know
to
he
listen
just is the worst.
to. That
voice.
is, you know how listening to your own voice is like the worst thing in the world? I'd rather listen to my own voice for hours than listen to Trevor Bauer. Holy shit. I will say a lot of the things he said isn't necessarily wrong, but again, it's just like it really does matter who's delivering the message because the messenger is just terrible. It's very hard for me to digest.
It really is that Onion headline of like the worst person you know did make a good point just now.
Well, that's the other thing about the Astros scandal. Why the Astros truly should they should all get one 100-mile-per-hour fastball thrown at their heads is because they vindicated Trevor Bauer.
That's true. That's the real scandal here.
I don't care about the World Series. It's just that I have to admit Trevor Bauer was probably right about them cheating.
How about this? This would be fun, even though he sucks. Is that every player gets to throw a fastball at an Astros player, but Trevor Bauer gets to pick one of the Astros and then chase him around with his drone.
Oh my god!
You just drone him. Just Altuve running away from a fucking just big ass drone that fucked up his fingers in the playoffs.
White people do love harassing people of color with drones.
You're gonna pull
wait! Who was the biggest drone guy though?
Who?
Was it you? Are you the drone man?
I don't know. Am I? I'm so confused. Oh my god!
Come on, Obama, the droner in chief.
It's not. No. The biggest one is Trump.
I don't think so. I don't think Obama.
No, it is by a bunch, dude. It's like not even close. But I mean, that's cool because like the thing is, Bush did it a bunch. Obama blew him out of the water, and Trump blew Obama out of the water in like the first 2 years.
Obama liked it quite a bit.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So I'm right. That means I'm right.
No, I can't find it. There's nothing that says like I can't find like a statistic that says like by each president. I mean,
Obama is just the second worst U.S. president of all time when it comes to just extrajudicial assassinations of people abroad, anytime, anywhere. He's the second worst. I'll give you that. We'll give you that.
Obama, listen, like I said, I'm not bashing Obama this month, all right? You're not gonna try to goat me into bashing Obama during Black History Month. It's not gonna happen.
It's a strong stance.
But yeah, no, Trevor Bauer, yeah. I mean, I guess to finish off, what do you think of that playoff idea? Because I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of think it's cool.
The pick your team.
Yeah.
So I will say that I don't think it's going to do much in terms of helping the game move forward with an audience.
Yeah.
However, and at first hearing it, I thought it was just kind of stupid. Like, didn't really care. And honestly, now that I hear about it more, I think it's even more stupid. And but I want to see it happen because I just want to see what the hell happens. Like, if they're good, the thing is, if you're gonna do it, you got to go big. All right, but it's like LeBron had that big spectacle when he had the decision. I want something like that to happen when teams choose their opponent. Like, I want like a 30-minute like a countdown. Like, okay, it's not gonna be this team, not gonna be that team. You get to the final two, who's it gonna be? I want something like that. Like, go big with it, because otherwise, what's the fucking point?
I mean, I feel like if they're gonna get rid of the DH. Or they're gonna add the universal DH. I think they need like some sort of like weird strategy element. Like that's what people love about baseball. I think it plays very well. I think like what people like about baseball. I do agree that I don't think it's not gonna do anything to like grow the game or whatever. Like, I mean,
yeah,
he is right about that. In that like it is stupid to like think that would like draw interest to the game. And I guess I didn't really think about it because like you brought it up, but like I think a lot of people were like, oh, it's just gonna be like this like hour-long special that's just to fucking sell ad revenue and shit. And I didn't really think about that, but same time I don't really give a shit because it's not like I watched like the All-Star Game draft or anything like that for basketball.
No, but I mean we talked about it before though. I feel like the All-Star Game draft is a little different because it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but it definitely does attract people because it's because of the element of it being real life, of like that's how people always play basketball at the Y. Like, you just pick your teams, and like I said last week, I think that if they want to actually do spectacle type shit, MLB All-Star Game, play wiffle ball, play fucking some wiffle ball, get some aluminum bats, just ping. Wild shit. Because what does it matter? That's what'll get.
I mean, you know the irony too of like the of like Trevor Bauer like complaining about how the game is marketed is I would say one like he's speaking of this issue of like how players are marketed, and probably one of the biggest issues is that he is probably one of the most marketed stars in the game. it's like yeah, if you're marketing fucking Trevor Bauer, like that's where you're fucking up. Is that like you fucking like are just so enamored with this absolute fucking idiot, like just this total like uninteresting knob of a man, like that cuts his own hair, like I mean, like that's your fucking. Not that there's anything wrong with cutting your own hair, but if you make as much money as he does, just pay someone to cut your hair, or at least don't fucking shave it all with one razor. You can't. You look like a tennis ball if you do that. You gotta have like a little bit of fucking shaping, different sizes, a little fade action, something.
At the end of the day, I mean, baseball's biggest problem is that, you know, my like dad who watches like some sports but not a ton, like my dad knows who Tom Brady is. My dad knows who LeBron James is. My dad has probably no fucking idea who Mookie Betts is. That's the problem. I mean, unless you would like, why all the hand wringing? That is the problem. The stars are not marketed. That's it. All of the goofiness, just get them out. That's it. That's your solution. Why? Yeah.
Which is wild because Manfred literally blamed Trout for not marketing himself enough.
Yeah.
Like, how unreal is that?
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to. You have other stars.
I would say I think it is like a little bit, at least for like guys like Mookie Betts and Trout. I think for them at least that I just think they don't really want to do it. Like they don't care. But it's not like there's like not 600 other players you could pick from to like, you know, like there's literally 600 other players you could pick from to like to be like, oh, one of you has to be slightly interesting. Like the
real condemnation of it is the most well-known, biggest personality in baseball is probably still among the general populace, probably still Big Papi, who hasn't played in several years. That's probably like the number one guy people know.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, that's I think that's the show. I think that's it. I enjoyed
that's all,
it.
folks.
I enjoyed it. We had some funny stuff.
We did. It was a good one.
Yeah. You have 2 weeks, I believe, before we go to Means. Please go to means.tv if you are able, and please donate $10 to them. Their project is much more important than having us. We are probably the worst offering compared to some of the incredible documentaries that they have purchased for it. Like they've been releasing trailers every few days now on Twitter for the documentaries that they have. They look incredible. They're incredibly well done. The content is very important.
Yes.
Plus, you get us. And it's not to disparage us. We are just not detailing the genocidal occupation of Palestine on the ground, like the other people on the platform are. So, if you, like I said, if you're able, please go to means.tv.com or means.tv, not .com, means.tv, and pitch in what you can. I know they're getting a little cash poor, so like just helping Means have a little bit of runway to keep to figure things out at least for a second before they run out of cash would be great. And then you'll get to continue having us in 2 weeks when we go there. You get the District Sentinel boys are on there doing some morning news. Street Fight boys are over there. The Beep Beep Lettuce folks are doing a stream, a video game stream, I know. So, and like I said, there's lots of exciting like documentaries, kids content, animated stuff. So, Anything else? Any other news? I bought my outfit for the Means TV premiere, the red carpet premiere. So I'm gonna be looking.
What is it?
Well, I can't ruin it. You'll see it.
Man.
You'll see it in fucking Us Weekly.
We gotta wear red, man.
Why do we have to wear red?
I think the.
I'm not wearing red.
It fits the theme.
No, I got something much cooler than just wearing red. I'm not Suge Knight.
Oh my goodness.
do you have your outfit ready for the Means TV premiere?
Who?
Me? I do not.
I think that both of you, it'd be very funny if both of you wore like 2003 NBA draft suits.
I did consider it. I considered it. I thought about it because I thought that would be funny, but not the look I'm going with yet. I have another look. So, I believe they're still selling. They're selling tickets to the one in Brooklyn. They're going to showcase one of the films they bought. So if you're in New York, maybe go hit it up. I know that's also on Means.tv. I think it's $15, and they said that if that seems too much for you, to just hit them up in the DMs on Twitter, and they'll work something out for you because they don't want anybody to be turned away. That's about all I got, I think. We have in the works, just get ready for March Madness. That's coming up in a month. So we will have the charity bracket started again. We'll probably start soliciting that soonish, maybe next week. I want to get a head start on it this year. It's always cool.
Yeah, let's not do it last minute like every other time we've done it.
The past 2 years, we have donated $50 to a charity, as well as the winner has gotten $50. So you might
let's get that higher.
You might it would be awesome to get that really high. Maybe even doubled. That would be awesome if it's doubled. But it sounds like hopefully Tom will be back. We have to work it out with how Means wants to do it. But we are going to stream the Selection Sunday game or ceremony or whatever show, and then do some picks. And this time we'll have video, so we'll have we can hopefully set up a cool video board. I wish we could. I can't promise, but I would love to have something like CNN where we're grabbing stuff, moving it around.
Oh yeah.
But
can we do can we do the uncut gems thing? Are we allowed like fair use if we just show us watching the TV screen? Is that allowed?
You will just have to have it on in the background.
Okay. I see.
Yeah. No, you cannot do that. As far as I know, on YouTube Live. But yeah, so we'll be back. That's always a lot of fun. There's a DM usually associated with that, and so there's a lot of fun shit talking, especially the first week of the tournament. So, who won? Who's the first year? Some comedian of yours, a friend of yours, won, and then Alex Keese won last year. So
I got second last year.
I know. I was looking good.
Who was it? It was who was in the final? I needed Texas Tech to win in the final.
Yeah. I can't remember who I had winning. I had Virginia the first year when they lost in the first round. That was a dumb move. Anyways. All right. Yeah. Until next week. We'll see you guys. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.